Recording?
Recording.
Boom. We're here, bitches.
What's up?
All right. Yeah, so that it's actually funny. We talk about that with my other podcast a little bit because fucking Rogan has not one but two YouTube channels. So he has obviously the Joe Rogan Experience or Powerful JRE, and then he has JRE Clips, and both of them have like millions of subscribers. And he makes so much fucking money and so many views off of just those clips alone. But like some of his smaller clips, though, they don't ever actually break 100K views.
I heard he actually makes more money from the smaller clips, is what I've heard.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, if I'm Joe Rogan and I have a 2 or 3 hour show, right, with someone fairly intelligent, you're going to get a lot of like clickbaity discussion out of that. So like you could just slice that up and you could get 10 videos out of one podcast.
It's fairly it's really ingenious. Yeah. I
mean, yeah, it is. A lot more podcasts. We're actually trying to do that with our podcast too, because obviously the more views you get, the more YouTube revenue you'll get.
Right.
Which is, I mean, YouTube revenue isn't shit anymore, which is why everyone uses Patreon and everything nowadays.
See, yeah, I made my YouTube money like a couple years back when I had my little guitar channel. I made a couple Google AdSense checks. They were pretty good, and I didn't really have that much views, but that was like 3 years ago. So back in the day, it was 3 years ago. But it's not the same anymore, sadly.
No, well, they crossed they changed their policy a couple years back where it was like, I think you make $1 for every 10,000 views now or some shit like that. Which really, for smaller channels especially, isn't shit. I mean, even major YouTubers, that's going to be a pretty big hit to their revenue.
For sure, yeah. It sucks because YouTube was like a pretty cool free like resource to be creative and stuff. And on top of that, you can't really, without getting your video flagged for any copyright stuff, is like nearly impossible nowadays. Like, good luck putting anything like on your YouTube channel without getting some sort of flag of copyright issue or copyright strike. It's pretty crazy. Sucks.
No, yeah. So it's actually, I have a perfect example of that. So today we, as of the time of this recording, we posted 2 videos last night for my other podcast, and one of them was basically, so there was a big piece of news out of the world of Terrace House, which is that Japanese reality show I podcast about, where the show is getting halted. Like, they're not going to film anymore because of the virus, of course.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so we did a podcast about that, and then we did like a chopped up version of it that's like straight to the point, no like colored discussion or anything. That way it's like easy to consume on YouTube. And so the longer version ended up getting more views, but it's actually limited on monetization because at one point, I think in the podcast, we say the word porn.
Oh, wow.
So I think YouTube's algorithm went through the audio, picked up on the word porn, and limited our monetization.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like, I cannot imagine, I can't remember why we would have ever gotten fucking flagged, but I think it's because of that.
Just for saying porn?
Which is really stupid. Just for saying porn, because there was an episode of Terrace House where one of the housemates stars in a Pink film, which is Japanese softcore porn.
No.
And they actually showed it, and we did a live react. So we actually like live together, first time reacts, all 4 of us watched porn together without knowing it.
Oh man. Dude, I think you discovered like a new thing. Like the Joe Rogan Fight Companion, but with porn. Everyone just watches the same porn together, and you have commentary over it. I think that's the next big step.
I mean, every single one of them is going to end the same way.
Exactly. Oh man. Hey man, I think that's a job revenue that you might want to avenue you might want to look into.
Well, I sure as fuck ain't gonna make YouTube money off of that. I'll tell you that much.
Nah, you can put it on somewhere else. I'm sure.
And put it on Pornhub.
Yeah, exactly. You can be the first big voice of Pornhub for sure. Like you could just
the Pornhub podcast.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's probably already a thing. Someone's art.
It has to be. I guarantee you. There's a podcast where we're pretty much fucking everything.
I know. It's a crowded market. You're a brave man.
All right. What do you... Exactly. What do you say I roll us in here, Christian?
All right. I'm good with that.
All right, man. So, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Collin and Mono. This is episode 7. Today I'm joined, as always, by a very special guest. His name is Christian Crump, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy behind the very theme song to this show, and one of my closest friends. How are you doing today, Christian?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me in Collin and Mono, the greatest video game podcast ever that existed. I gotta tell the story before we get any further. So,
go for it.
So when Collin was pitching me that he wanted a song for the podcast, I'm like, oh, cool. I've been working on this track forever, and this whole time, I don't know what got lost in the conversation, but I thought it was just purely a video game podcast, because he told me he was going to be talking to video game people and everything. And so, my band has a couple thousand views and followers and stuff on Facebook and other social media things. And so I was telling all the guys in the band to, help this podcast by, representing it and, and pushing it to, and sharing it and stuff. And we were all like, yeah, it's going to be the greatest video game podcast ever. And then I'm like, I feel so good because I'm helping out my buddy Collin. And then, I don't know, Colin's like, hey, man, you texted me. And you were like, hey, man, thanks for the push, but it's not a video game podcast. And in fact, the first episode has nothing to do with video games. I'm like, I
mean, honestly, to be frank, I think it was definitely a fault of my own because it was one of those things where I had kept this podcast under wraps for so long because it took me so long to get it out there. And I just I think the last time I had just even told Christian about it, maybe I did mention something about video games. So to him, I just forgot to update him on what the hell it was. And there, lo and behold, everyone's thinking I'm doing a video game podcast. Which, I mean, to be fair, I said this in one of my episodes. There's going to be an inherent video game focus, I think, just because that's what I'm interested in.
Well, that's you as a person. So, I mean,
right. And I'm definitely gonna have some video game people on, but it's definitely not a video game podcast.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I just loved it because I was like, oh, it's you want to listen to some good video game commentary and social stuff and everything, and then the first episode's about bouldering or climbing rocks or something. It was a good episode. I was so embarrassed. Yep. I was like shit.
Oh no, dude, no, it's. Honestly, I think it was on me anyway, so I wouldn't even worry about it. And besides, it's really hard to podcast about video games. I did it for a while, and it's one of those things where everyone has the video game people that they like to listen to because there's so many people that have a following and have an in the industry. And so that's just really, that's a hard place to break into. That's like breaking into Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
as an aspiring actor when it comes to podcasting.
Yeah, it's definitely crowded, very crowded. So, but yeah,
very much so. But today I wanted to focus on Christian, our relationship, us playing in the band together, because of course, Life Before Us, the band and the song that you wrote, and of course the band on the show here, the opening song. I was in the band for a good while, and that's how I get to know you guys. Of course, you guys sound quite a bit different from the time when I was in the band, but in a great way. And I kind of wanted to just talk about that and reminisce a little bit, kind of look back on the whole band thing. So yeah, man. Obviously, you and I met when we were very young. It's kind of one of those things that, we don't really talk about it, but we've known each other for a long time, dude.
Yeah, since first grade, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that sounds about right. First grade, and so I think it's one of those things where it's very common for a bunch of teenagers really in general, but teenage boys to at some point be like, yeah, man, we should start a band.
Oh yeah, and for sure.
And that's what we did. So we got together and we were a shitty cover band for a while. And God, I swear to God, if I have to hear "My Hero" one more time by Foo Fighters,
we started as honestly, no, I don't think we were that shitty compared to like what. Like, if you watch some other cover bands, like, there is some really bad acts out there that, I think that we were better when we first started compared to some of these people that are, I guess, I don't know what the word to say, but I thought we were all right for our first time. I thought it was a decent show.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, there was a little naivete there. I think that's the word.
Naivete.
I mean, yeah, we were certainly young and a little bit naive, but what we did have was a determination to really do the damn thing right. And I think even though there were things that we didn't know, we started to learn pretty quickly. And I think that we were so serious about it that we just kept pushing to make sure, it wasn't a fleeting thing for us. It was one of those things where we want to do this band thing and we want to really try and go for it. It wasn't one of those things where we just one day just kind of faded out of existence, which is why, you and Marcus and Harley and Zarek and all the guys are still doing stuff. So
yeah, I mean, it's you gotta have a passion for it, because if you're not passionate for it, then you probably, if you don't love it, then it's the wrong business for you. It's a business purely based on your love for it, because money really isn't, it's not what it's like, what it used to be, because when CDs were selling, you would make more money, but now everyone gets their music almost illegally, or how people get music nowadays. But it's just you gotta love it. If you don't love it, then you probably shouldn't do it. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, nowadays being in a band, especially a metal band like we were, you guys still are, it's one of those things where you're essentially a traveling merch salesman more than anything if you're a band at all.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I mean, that's when you're making most of your money. And if you get bigger and you start touring, I mean, even then, a lot of your ticket sales are going to be taken by your record company and stuff like that too. So you got to be in it to just do the thing, man. You can't be in it to hope that you're going to be the next Metallica or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't
those days are gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't even think there ever will be another Metallica. I think that whole idea of a big band thing is kind of gone and out the window. I think you can get big bands, but I don't think they'll ever reach that status ever again. Because the reason why Metallica and so many of those bands, those big metal bands in the 80s got so big is because they were like enigmas. There was a interest around them, because people are so present nowadays in social media, and oh, you want to know what Kirk Hammett's doing? Just let's see what's going on his Twitter feed. You know what I mean? But
sure.
Back in the day, if you wanted to see Kirk Hammett other than the magazines and whatnot, and a couple videos you might see, it's the only way to see it is live. You know what I mean? So a lot of people, or buy the CD and hear it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the, nowadays everything is just so convenient, and there's such a level of accessibility to literally everything. I mean, when you talk about celebrities or band members and stuff like that, those people are more accessible than ever. Back in the day, people like that were extremely private, and it's more so because they just didn't have ways to put themselves out there like they do now. And that's kind of what gave that sort of mystique around them. But at the same time, back then, Metallica got around by word of mouth. I mean, they got around in very analog ways and just tore their ass off and got their name out that way. But I've met people that didn't even hear about Metallica, though, until, their third album, sometimes even their fourth album came out, because that's when they finally got, on MTV with the One music video and all that stuff. And it just took a lot longer for information to get around back then.
Right.
Yeah. And so nowadays we have just an access to celebrities, yes, but just an access to just an insane amount of media. And given that people are just so ADD about where their attention goes because there's so much of it is available, you don't get those bands that so many people are focused on anymore. You have some bigger bands, but you're not getting that level of like, okay, this is the only thing I have, right? So this is what I'm going to listen to. It's more so like I have a dozen things I'm listening to all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I love how we're talking about this like we're like really old, but we're not that old. So like,
oh no, no, and that's the thing is Christian and I aren't that old. It's just it's shit's changed so much.
I mean, we were
in our short fucking lifespans.
I mean, we were born in the 90s, so you know,
yeah.
I vaguely remember 1999, so that means I can say that. So I wasn't.
Yeah, I remember 1999. We're there for 9/11,
yeah,
but just barely.
Yeah, like I barely remember these things, but hey, man, I did technically grow up in this time, so
yeah. Somebody's listening to this and be like, you young fucks.
I know, but hey, man, we understand though. We completely understand what it was like back then. So, because you would have to have remember like the CDs towers, like if you wanted to listen to music, that was the best way to do it. You had the big giant CD towers and like the booklets of CDs. You remember those? Oh
yeah. I still have mine somewhere at home, or the big giant fucking book somebody would keep in their back seat, just full of loose CDs.
I have a big giant book. I really do. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but I have a big giant book. So.
Whole lot of NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Limp Bizkit. I don't know. You name it. Some sort of 90s something.
Yeah. So. It's quite interesting, but
you know what was always great is when you had all those loose CDs in the case, and you weren't necessarily familiar with the artwork that was on those CDs, so you didn't know which fucking CD was which because they didn't have the band's name on them.
Right. Well, I always had this fun. See what I did. My mom actually used to work at a CD store way back in the day, way back, and she'd always get to take home CD. I don't know how it worked, to be honest with you. I don't know whether she was stealing it or not. I don't think so, but I think like she was just getting a bunch of CDs, and you know, my mom's not the most organized person, but so all the CDs would be scattered, and I'd always have like I wouldn't know what some of this stuff was, so I didn't know what a lot of this music was. So a lot of the time I'm putting things in for the first time. It's like, all right, let's hear what this is about, and that's how I figured. I'd always just pick the coolest artwork and hope for the best. Like, okay, hopefully that this is a good CD, and that's kind of how I started listening to music, is just by going through my mom's big CD collection and picking out artworks and seeing what I liked and what I disliked. So,
yeah, that's so funny because that's something that only you can really get out of physical music. I mean, before that's very much in parallel with. People back in the day going to record stores and just picking up a record just because the album art looks cool. I mean, that's how a lot of people found like Iron Maiden and shit like that. Like, oh, hey, this artwork looks dope. Gonna buy this and just throw it on the turntable, see what happens. And you just don't get that anymore. It's more so just like everyone just spreads shit around and you see like a video on social media or something like that, or some clickbaity headline, or I don't know. It could be a million things now.
Yeah. And the weird thing about this all is I never even really was a rock fan until about middle school. Like I didn't even really start liking rock music until, I don't know, probably the end of 6th grade is when I started becoming I actually started liking heavy metal bands and stuff. It took a while. It was a slow evolution for me.
Because I grew up in around my dad, who was always a big like rock / metalhead, and my dad played in a cover band, and they wrote a few originals. Well, he played in a couple of bands growing up, and he's the one who got me into basically set the foundation for a lot of the music I'm into now. But that after Christian and I started hanging out some more, I think that sort of started to rub off on him in a little bit, the stuff that I listened to, and then my dad playing guitar and stuff like that, because I remember my dad being a pretty big influence on you growing up.
Shout out to Bill Sparling, one of the greatest people ever.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to have him on the show at some point. My dad's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
Dude, your dad.
Yeah, it's just got to, the whole virus thing is probably going to be a while.
Right.
Yeah, so... but yeah, so that's kind of what got Christian set off there. But like around that time was when my dad actually stopped playing in the band because, work stuff happened, life stuff happened. and so he quit. And then it was soon after that, ironically enough, that I actually got into the whole band thing. So I was like, God damn it, Dad, why do you have to sell all your stuff?
Yeah, I know. But
it's one of the greatest tragedies in my family history.
But here's the real, like, yeah, all that's true. But the real, like, thing that was, like, probably the biggest factor in making me want to do bands and even start playing guitar in the first place was a little video game called Guitar Hero. I think you remember that game?
Yes.
So
yeah, of course. I think a lot of older people, it's just funny how this works. A lot of older people were probably giving us a lot of shit for being kids that were like playing this video game or play guitar. They're like, yeah, well, why don't you play real guitar instead? And actually some of us did. I mean, Guitar Hero was super influential for a lot of this newer wave of musicians. Like that Guitar Hero was such an insanely good way to expose so many people to music. Dude. In general, really. Dude,
like I'm part of that wave, that Guitar Hero wave that influenced, you know, that stuff at the time, because I don't like guitar. Right. I don't think guitar was ever back when Guitar Hero first hit, like especially when Guitar Hero 3, because that was like their big.
Yeah, that's when it blew the fuck up.
That was peak Guitar Hero. But like I don't think guitar was more popular ever in that, like that playing guitar was so popular at the time. Like they were selling guitar, like cheap ass shitty guitars and like, you know, Walmarts and Kmarts and just so they could sell real guitars because kids were buying them because of the game. And yeah, some of those people stuck with it, and thankfully I was one of those guys that stuck with it. And yeah, and I've been playing guitar now since, I don't know, 13 years now, 14? Yeah, something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, 13 years. I started officially around 12, so yeah, 13.
Holy shit, has it really been 13 fucking years, dude?
I know. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Oh, God. Just dated ourselves.
Yeah.
Again, we're not that old, but like at the same time, that's 13 years is a long time.
Yeah.
It's a long fucking time, man.
It's a long time to do one thing and practice at it. And still
think
you suck at it. That's the worst part.
Shit. Well, you're more committed than I am, man. I picked up the guitar for a while, and I haven't been able to stick with it.
Yeah.
But
like I said, it's just like, it's like part of my routine now, though. Like it's not even like, it's just.
It's something you don't even think about.
Yeah, it's like it's just like taking a shower. Like, oh, I gotta play guitar today. Like, I have to do it. That's not a matter of like, you know, if I feel like it. It's just more of like ingrained in my personality that I have to do this today. So.
Right, which is honestly how you build good habits. I mean, the fact that, I mean, even practicing 5 minutes a day can make a huge difference. But I think that, I mean, the whole Guitar Hero thing, yeah, I definitely think it influenced a lot of guitarists nowadays. I mean, back then, especially when Guitar Hero 3 came out, I was in like the 6th grade or something like that, and I remember people couldn't shut the fuck up about Slash from Guns N' Roses. And it was like, oh my God, people, you know, there's more guitar players out there, right?
Well, listen, Slash is really good. He is really good. And,
he is.
And he has an iconic sound. Like, that's the thing, though. Like, it's hard to say that you have an iconic sound, because that's like one of the tough things to do nowadays is to sound different from everyone else. And
oh, absolutely.
When Slash plays guitar, you kind of know it's Slash. Like you don't even have to see a picture. You don't even have to see the video of it. If you hear Slash playing, you know, be like, sounds like Slash playing guitar, which is a crazy thing. You know, that's like a rare talent to have such unique voice on the instrument like that. So, yeah, but but he is a little overrated in terms of
yeah. It's not so much Slash himself that I have a problem with. It's just like anything else that, you know, I grew up around that was kind of shoved down our throats. Like, I mean, do you remember, like throughout school, it was like Slipknot and then Avenged Sevenfold that was just consistently shoved down our throats. Like, yeah. I felt like that was a thing like for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I saw more Avenged Sevenfold and Slipknot shirts than any other band shirts. You know, like.
Yeah, and then you always had those kids that were like, you try to talk to them about music, and then they would always somehow turn the conversation back towards Avenged Sevenfold or Slipknot.
Well, they actually, yeah, those kids, they actually didn't know anything about metal other than Avenged Sevenfold and Slipknot. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, okay, so
They'd be like,
what's your favorite Slipknot song? Before I Forget. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Hey, what else?
Yeah.
What else you like? Psychosocial. Oh, anything else? I can't think of the names, but I like a lot of their
But
songs.
actually, man, I just really think that Joey Jordison's like the greatest drummer in the history of anything ever. So
he is good. He is good.
no, and that's the thing is like it's not so much hating on any of these bands that we're talking about, even though I fucking hate Guns N' Roses. It's not so much hating on those bands. It's more so just the people that would basically shove those things down your throat. Nobody likes to be, held against their will and just force fed a band, because I actually did learn later on that I appreciated Avenged Sevenfold, and I actually really like a lot of Slipknot stuff.
Oh, dude, Slipknot's awesome.
So,
I mean, they're fantastic. Yeah. It took me a while to actually get it to hop on the Slipknot train, because their fans, the maggots, that's what they call them. So if people don't know,
yeah,
Slipknot calls their fans maggots. So, but yeah, just the fan base is what was pushing me away from actually listening to the band, because I was like, these, like, everyone that likes them is just like, come on, like, it's just a little
feels
little hand-fisted, you know what I'm saying? So
I think the word for it felt a little gatekeepy, didn't it?
Yeah,
like,
that's the word. I couldn't think of the word, but that's pretty proper. It's proper English.
Yeah, and it was like, but it's not so. It's not nearly as bad anymore. I think a lot of those people that were like that have chilled the hell out,
right?
And everyone just kind of like likes everything now, which is great.
Or everyone hates everything.
That's true.
There's no middle anymore. You either like everything or you hate everything. You can't be in the middle.
Yeah, a lot of those people either turned into like metal elitists that are like death metal is the only good metal, or just kind of like chilled out and ended up like going lighter than Slipknot and listening to indie now or whatever or something. I don't know.
Right.
But it's like I said, it's not so bad now. But it was super annoying back then to be into those bands. But nowadays, I listen to Slipknot. Their first two albums especially are just fucking incredible. And it's just heavy and raw in a way that a lot of other bands like haven't quite captured in that sense.
They've been there's been some close bands, but yeah, it's just a unique sound, and it's just crazy that they came from Iowa, like a state like that, and it's just like, imagine seeing that, like 9 dudes on stage with masks doing this new metal thing, and just, oh dude, I bet it was crazy at the time. I wouldn't know, because I'm not that old, so.
Right, exactly. And I think that it was around that time we started Stranded. That was our cover band. And I will say that we had a pretty good string of coming up with not bad band names. Stranded wasn't bad. And then we had Antihero, which wasn't bad either.
Dude, Stranded's a badass band name. I don't care what anyone says. So I like it. I've always liked that name. I thought it was cool. And Gojira named a song Stranded. So, I think that's cool. That works for me.
Yeah, no, I think it was cool. Our band itself, shit. It could have been better.
Hey,
did some
there's
covers.
YouTube video of this band if you guys want to listen to it. There's a couple.
There is.
There's a couple high school talent show performances of this band.
God, I still have those up on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, and our song choice. What was it for the first one?
So we played Deny by default for one of the talent show things, and then I think that was 11th grade, and then 12th grade we played 2 different fucking bands, and we played a Godsmack song, and then we played Enter Sandman by Metallica, because we knew everyone in the gym would know that song.
Because we wanted to fucking win, Collin. That's why.
We wanted to win, and then Harley had to throw his fucking drumstick right at the start of the song.
Yeah.
It was like some fucking straight up band fail shit, dude. It was like right as the song comes in, dun 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 dun, bah, and then there goes fucking Harley's drumstick.
Dude, he recovered
flying across the gym floor.
Yeah, he recovered pretty well though. I mean,
he did, but God, he came in. I swear to God, he was doing double time when he came back in.
Well, yeah, and the sad part is we still lost. Yep.
Yeah, we lost. It's just because
some chick,
a part of
some
it was
chick can sing Les Mis, so she won. So that's.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking high school talent show. What can you expect?
Yeah.
Fucking small town Ohio. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We had fun doing it. I think Christian came in his cutoff jean shorts. I'll never forget that.
Well, yeah, I'm playing some awesome Metallica. Gotta wear some jean shorts. So.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we've been there, done that. Did the whole talent show thing. We the first show we ever played wasn't it Community Days. We had an hour-long set at the Bellevue Festival, Community Days Festival. Yeah, in this small ass town, at this small little festival right down the street from our school, where they had a beer tent and a bunch of fucking dads drinking in the back and a bunch of kids running around doing stupid shit. We played an hour-long set with covers ranging anywhere from Foo Fighters to Jimmy Eat World to Godsmack. And I think I forgot like at least half of the lyrics to all the songs. It was so bad.
No,
it was really bad.
No. That's the best part about that, though, is that you forgot almost all the lyrics to every song. That's what makes watching that so much fun.
Oh, and I think we played Jimmy Eat World completely out of tune, or something like that.
Would we play the metal? We played the metal.
Yeah. We played the middle. And I remember because I think
we did. We did.
So
I had the.
We played we did an acoustic break where we played Nutshell by Alice in Chains, and Christian. I think you told me that you forgot to tune your guitar or some shit.
I grabbed the wrong guitar. I was. I grabbed the wrong one. I thought I grabbed the right one, but no. So I had to completely retune on the spot while you guys were playing. Luckily, I think we had there was me and another guitar player, our good buddy Kyle. Shout out to Kyle Fierenstein. But yeah, he was covering me while I was retuning everything. But I mean, everything that could have went wrong at that show. I mean, but that's just how how it goes, you know? I mean, that's how.
Yeah, man. The first one is never the greatest. But you know what it is. It's a great story, and I think as a band you just got to start somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And I think anyone who was in a band, especially starting at such a young age, has similar stories. I mean, there's just things that you learn from experience. It's so funny. There's a picture of a notebook piece of paper that floats around on the internet of Lars Ulrich's notes from the first ever Metallica show. And one of the lines in those notes says, Dave broke like 2 strings on the first fucking song.
Oh, man. I've never done that. I've never broke a string live. I'm surprised I haven't, but yeah, I have never done that.
We've had plenty of technical difficulties, though, I'll tell you that much.
Oh, dude. Well, I just know for that first show, my amp, for some reason, wasn't working. I remember that. So there was an issue with my amp. There was, I know there was a tuning issue where I grabbed the wrong guitar. Some lyrical stuff. I know we might have had a couple microphone issues or something.
Probably.
I knew Zarek, who drummed for us. I remember his kick drum. He didn't have a carpet underneath him when he was doing the kick drum stuff. So his kick drum
scratched the hell out of his fucking kick drum.
Well, but it was pushing it. So like as he was playing, his kick drum kept moving forward because there was no, the fabrics there is to hold that kick drum in place.
And there's no friction to keep it in place.
Yeah, so when you're hitting that kick drum, it's like, oh man, and it kept pushing it forward. So Zarek, luckily we had a break in the set where we didn't have the drummer, but yeah, he had to push it back in and stuff. So yeah, I mean everything that could have went wrong, and that's usually how it goes, So
yeah, and
we
I think playing I mean, first of all, that was a lot of people for us to play in front of for our very first show ever, too.
Dude,
and,
we packed
certainly
that tent.
nerves. Yeah,
We
and certainly
packed
nerves
it.
were certainly nerves were very, very high. At least for me, it was because that was one of the first times we'd been on stage together really at all, and so being on stage that was nerve wracking at the time. After it's one of those things where the more we did it, the more we kind of just got used to it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and after that, it only went uphill. I mean, we eventually got the covers together. We played to a lot of empty rooms, and eventually we started writing originals. And I actually remember it was me that actually had a lot of qualms with writing originals because I had no idea how to do that. I had no confidence in doing that either. Like I had no idea with originals at the time, man.
Well,
so I remember being kind of like against it for a while.
well, I don't blame you because even now to this day, like my band, writing those vocal melodies is tough to get the right one. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of trial and error into seeing what just is the best fitting thing. You know what I mean? So it's just like just the other day we were doing some vocal stuff in the band, and it's just like, no, let's try this. No, let's try this. Yeah, let's try this. And you just do it over and over and over again, you know what I mean? And that's really just how vocal melody writing works. And, you know, it's just a trial and error type thing. So I don't, it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I didn't really have, I wasn't very well equipped to like do my own writing or anything at the time. I didn't have like a piano to go off of or anything like that. And so I would basically just listen back to our rough demos until I would come up with something. And then after a while, I think, I mean, way later in the band, we ended up just going fucking all heavy, and I would just not write any sort of cleans at all, really. But yeah, like to your point though, it is insanely difficult to write a good vocal hook, and vocals in general, really. Vocal melodies are fucking tough, especially writing something original too when you've been exposed to so many.
Yeah, because you just want to copy who your favorites are. You just.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, shit. I'm sure I've ripped off Chino Moreno a few times.
Yeah, a few times. We'll go with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you bet your damn ass as soon as we possibly could, we covered a Deftones song. But yeah, like after we played a few shows where we basically played, like, we had maybe one or two originals, and then all the rest were covers, and we were like perfectly fine rolling with that for a while until eventually we came to realize that we're not going to get anywhere just playing all covers. Just that we weren't a cover band. We wanted to write original stuff.
Yeah, and you got to think too is that we had a pretty so we did that community day show, which is packed full of tent, lots of people, and then we didn't play a show for like another year after that because we had some changes and stuff, and then we played the Underground in Sandusky, Ohio, which
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
To literally our parents.
Yeah, we played that.
To my dad and our bassist dad and a couple others.
Yeah, we played to our parents, and then
and the other band that was playing that night.
Yeah, and then after that, then that's when we kind of went into the new direction with that was Straight Team 6 era, right? After that,
sometime after that. That sounds about right. I can't remember the exact timeline, but I remember we ended up getting a charity show at a local pub, and that was like we were way too much for that show. We had no business being there at all.
We packed the house though. A lot of people came.
We did. A lot of people really liked it, even though it wasn't the greatest. But
a lot of people came to that show to see us play, and our goal was just to bring in a lot of people for the charity. I mean, more people means more money for the charity event, and that was basically what we told them. And I thought that went really well, actually. I had
it for the most part. It did. It was the fickle thing about being a cover band too is like you have certain songs that you're trying to cover, and it's really hard on a band when you're trying to cover so many different songs with so many different tunings and vocal ranges and all that stuff. So I remember there was a couple songs that we were actually not playing in the right tuning. And we did it just for convenience. And I remember it was actually really hard for me to sing in the right key.
Yeah, we played a lot of. Well, I had 3 guitars, and I could only limit myself to how many guitars I had. So.
Well, the issue was we like to play all the stuff that was in like a bajillion different tunings, everything from fucking E flat to drop C to fucking I don't know, you name it.
The one I remember specifically that was really bad. We played The Clincher by Chevelle.
No, we played
No.
What?
Shit, what song was that?
Not The Clincher. It was fuck. I'll remember it, but I know what you're talking about. It wasn't The Clincher, but it was another Chevelle song.
Yeah, I already remember the intro of it.
Yeah, I could sing it to you right now, but I can't remember the name of the song.
Yeah, that song.
But yeah, the point being, you're right. That song specifically, it was so hard for me to sing in key because we were in the right tuning, and my brain kept telling me to sing it in the same key as the original version.
Yeah, that's tough.
And so I was really struggling. Wasn't it Get Some?
Get Some, yeah. Yeah, that was
yeah, that's right.
That's a good song. I forgot all about that song until you brought up the tuning issue, and then all of a sudden it just popped in my head.
What a fucking great song. Great band. I love Chevelle still to this day.
One of the few radio bands that are on the radio that I think is actually good. You know, like. Oh,
yeah, absolutely. And I think just a PSA about Chevelle, too. I think the stuff that they play on the radio, definitely not like a good indicator of the rest of their music that they make, because I think they definitely have some more radio friendly songs. If you listen to their album cuts, there's some really good shit, some really heavy stuff on there too.
Honestly though, I think the radio songs are pretty good too though. Like
no, they're great. They're great. I definitely don't dislike them.
Just compared to what's on the radio most of the time, I think they're pretty good. So
yeah, absolutely. And so that show was definitely the signifier for a new era. Is I remember I was pretty fucking nervous at the beginning of that show, because that was the first show we played in a long time, and that was the first show we played with our new lineup.
Fuck, dude.
And I remember that I had actually I was telling people in the crowd to like get in my fucking face and like getting really hyped and stuff, and I'm like, I totally forgot it was a charity event, and people were like, oh, what the hell, man, and people started leaving.
Did that happen?
So like, oh my. That definitely happened, dude. I'll never forget it.
It was before we even started playing.
Yeah, I still cringe to this day thinking about it.
Yeah, like, because we were all standing there, like, we knew we were going to be a little weird because we were playing heavy music. But we're all standing there getting ready, and then Colin's like, get in my fucking face! Get in my fucking face! And like we're like, oh, Collin, settle down, bro. Settle down.
Yeah. I was like acting like we were playing the Foundry in Cleveland or something, which that's a later story. But like, yeah, I was just getting all hyped, and I just forgot where I was for a second there. That's all I can really say about it.
Honestly though, who can blame you? I mean,
I know it, and people still really liked it.
That's the world of heavy metal, man. It's getting lost in the moment. That's why.
Yeah, shit. That show was like 5 years ago now, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And so after that, I can't remember what our next show was after that, but we definitely played.
We played the Agora in Cleveland.
Did we?
Yeah, that was our second show.
The Agora in Cleveland.
Yeah, we opened up for a Rammstein knockoff, Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, I forgot about that one. I seriously forgot about that one, because I was like, no, we didn't open for Mushroomhead that soon, which is like, we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I forgot about that fucking show. Holy shit.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, I remember.
It was a very forgettable show.
It was. So it's hilarious that we played the fucking Agora as our second show, because we were still playing only 2 originals, and I think all the rest were covers.
Yes. Yep.
And I remember some dude telling us that like, hey, you guys really need to drop the covers.
Yep, I remember that too.
Yeah, and we're like, shit, we need to just... I think we might have... Did we take a short break after that, or did we keep playing shows? I remember we played that weird fucking place next to the airport in Cleveland, too.
Fastbacks.
Yeah, holy shit. Wow. Yeah, we played that place, and that was a fucking dump.
Great stage, though. They had a nice big stage, which is always nice.
They did. They did, which was really hard for us because we had 6 fucking people.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and that Agora show taught me so much because that was our first legit out in the, not our local, you know what I mean? It was out in Cleveland, and it was a show with set times, and like, because what a lot of people don't understand is like, when you play metal shows or whatever, you have about 4 or 5, sometimes 6 bands, even more than that, on a single bill for the whole night.
Woohoo, backlining. Backlining like a motherfucker.
So you have to put all your gear on stage, everyone's gear, because the headliner gets all their gear on the back. All their gear is already set ready to go because they're the headliner and they get the sound check first. That's usually how it works. And then everyone else then backlines from, the last band to play to the first. And we were like the second band or third band to play.
Yeah, I remember that. We had next to no I couldn't move at all because, now on top of having a little room, of course we have 6 people in our band.
Yeah, 6 people, no room. And then on top of that, you have about 5 to 8 minutes of getting your stuff ready to go and getting your sound check in. And people need to, that's the most stressful time ever for me, and probably mostly any musician would probably, understand that. For me, that, nowadays, I don't even get worried about playing. Playing's the easy part. It's the sound check and getting set up is the part that I get nervous about. It's the part that I, all right, here we go, so that's the...
No, you're totally right. Especially going from, like you said, the local venues to something like the Agora that was... And by contrast, ran like a well-oiled machine. Like they were like, hey, this band's off. You need to get on. You have 5 minutes. Be snappy. That we need to get on it and get going because we don't want to be here all fucking night. Dude, because we have 6, 7 bands on the fucking bill.
Dude, that was a culture shock to me, man. Because when I first got I just assumed every band got their own sound check and everything was hunky dory. Dude, I was so wrong, and I just was like. I was playing 2 amps at the time simultaneously, and I had to set that up with an ABY box, and that's where you can play the amps. And I didn't get to set up the second amp. Dude, I was like, oh my God, this is how it works. So I had a lot of thinking to do after that show. And I think that's when we took a break. Yeah, we took a break after that because we weren't prepared for something like that. We ended up playing, but they took 5 or 6 minutes off our set time because how long it took for us to set up. So... It was that's just the that was the cusp of it, and I think it definitely was a crazy big learning experience. Like I said, we learned that we needed to quit playing covers, and we did play a couple more shows with covers after that, but after those shows we definitely took some time and kind of reinvented ourselves a little bit. We definitely had to actually be an original band because we were playing with a bunch of original bands, so
yeah, exactly. And so and we also that show served as hey, you kind of got to know your place when it comes to shit like this. It's one of those things where if you just got to stay humble because this is just the cards that you're going to be dealt. We had several instances when hey, we thought we built up a reputation, but we still got to play first band on the bill or maybe even second band. That's just how shit goes, man. And so you just gotta stay humble and just kind of deal with a lot of stuff,
right?
And be prepared for that if you decide to become a band in any sort of scene, really.
Yeah, and that's just just make sure you guys can set up your stuff fast because that's that was the biggest thing for me because I was like, oh my God, nowadays we'll get to it, but I can set up my stuff and I can set up almost the whole band up in 3 to 4 minutes. It's real quick.
Oh yeah. That's. Especially nowadays with a lot of bands going full on digital, it's just a matter of basically just taking your stuff out of the box and plugging it in and you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so we took a break for a while after that and then got into the whole writing originals thing. And God, I can't even remember what came out of that time. I remember a couple of the songs. I'll never forget Monolith, which was basically a Dillinger Escape Plan ripoff song, but it was great. I really love that song.
It was Dillinger Escape Plan mixing with a little Between the Bear to Me, and yeah,
because I think it was around that time that we we definitely wore influences on a sleeve for sure. And you can definitely see the shift in what we were really into at the time between originals. Like, so by the time you get, I think Monolith was maybe the fourth or fifth song that we wrote. That was when we were into the really like noisy, sort of just chaotic, crazy time signature type stuff, really wild and dangerous. And we took a lot of influence from people like Dillinger Escape Plan. And I think that's kind of when we got it into our DNA, that we wanted our shows to feel crazy and dangerous, and we kind of liked that feeling of it feels like you're listening to a strobe light.
Yeah, we wanted to be unpredictable. That was definitely like, because if we couldn't be like, I don't know how, like, if we couldn't be the heaviest, I wanted to be the weirdest, you know what I mean, like in terms of just what we did. So
yeah,
and that was the goal, is just to be the weirdest, the craziest, doing thing. Honestly, I thought if you listen to our first EP, which is not available,
no, because it sounds like absolute shit. Trust me.
Hey, for what we had, it was what it was. But
yeah, I got the job
if you
done.
listen to it though, and you could tell there's a potential for some cool, like, I call it trash prog. It's like trash prog music. It's like punk prog. I don't know. I think it has a cool sound to it. And I think listening back to it, I think there's some potential for some like actual unique art in there, but it's definitely a unique sound that we had, and I thought we were doing some cool things retrospectively, but at the time, we didn't really know what we were doing. So we just
we kind of just like threw stuff together, and we made some. What I will say is, even if the songs weren't necessarily great, they were at the very least fun to play.
Yeah,
that's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
When we played songs, like we had a song called "Kill 'Em Dead," and it was just Christian just came to practice one day. He's like, "We just want to write a heavy as fuck song, just for the hell of it," and that's what we did. I basically took what Christian wrote, and then I wrote some of the most brutal, like just over the top, ridiculous lyrics I could. There's not really any singing in that whole song, and it was a crowd pleaser. People fucking love that song when we played it, dude.
I mean, it didn't even make sense though. Like, it's like there's 6 different tempos, 6 to 7 different tempos, and it's just like, I like this really heavy riff. All right, put it in "Kill 'Em Dead." All right, I like this really heavy riff. All right, put it in "Kill 'Em Dead," and it just became like 4 minutes of just the dumbest heavy riffs, but in just one song, and it didn't fit. But people liked it, so that's all.
It was, you know what? It was effective. Yeah. That's what I will say. It was effective.
I mean, listen to the song "Kill 'Em Dead." It doesn't even make sense, but
yeah, you know what? But it was worth it. When we talk about our later beer Keller show, I think too, especially that will always be ingrained in my mind. So we started writing those songs, and I think we had some other stuff written, but I can't remember if that was we started going out and playing other shows, or if we recorded that EP first.
No, we did. We played shows with those songs before we recorded.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, we definitely played shows with those songs. Because I think by the time we had our EP done, we were already playing some newer stuff. And by the time we finished the EP, I think it was already outdated.
Yeah. I mean, that's what sucks, man. Especially starting out as a band, you don't know what you want to do. You don't know what sound it takes forever to find your sound. It takes forever to like figure out who you want to be as a band, as what your sound is, what your image, all that stuff. It takes time to develop that, and
yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, and our first EP is just a bunch of ideas. But there's no obvious clear direction. Like there's no direction of that EP, which is like my biggest thing I don't like about it. It's just it's like a mixtape of cool like garage band songs. You know what I mean? Like just.
Yeah, but I think what it does do though is like, I mean, I hope those songs are at least available somewhere. Someone has them, because
we have them. We have them.
Yeah, it's because. Yeah, they weren't the greatest things in the world, but what they are, they're kind of, they're a time capsule. It's a capturing of a band in its embryonic state, really. And I think that's that's a first album for a lot of bands. I mean, we were talking about Chevelle earlier, and their first album is fucking Helmet meets Tool all the way through, basically.
I mean, yeah, man. It's just listen to any band's first album. It's usually not the same thing as their last album. It's usually, it's a progression of finding your sound and growing up and getting older, and it encapsulates who you are in that time. So.
Yeah, exactly. So while they're not the greatest things in the world, I'm still happy that we did it. I'm still happy that we have those songs. And then, I mean, we continue to improve after that, and we tried a lot of new stuff. We hit a stage where we were playing all heavy stuff too, but then after that, we definitely, especially towards the end of my time in the band, we started to get a lot more experimental with the stuff that we were doing.
Yeah, and I don't know, but I think about the time that you left the band is where I think we started understanding good songwriting. Like we actually started to understand how to write a good song. And actually have,
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Christian says that, but it's like I think it's absolutely true. I some of the stuff that, or basically all the stuff really that you guys have written since I left the band has been fucking fantastic, and I think it's really cool to watch you guys grow as a band too. And I mean. And what I will say too is on my part towards the end of the band, it was, I mean, part of the reason why I quit the band is it was just becoming increasingly more difficult to make the band a priority.
I mean, you were living in Mansfield at the time, weren't you? You were living in
Mansfield, and then after that Columbus.
Yeah.
I mean, I was driving 2 hours away just to come to band practice, and I mean, on my part of like it would be very last second that I would be writing my parts of the songs and stuff like that. It was I mean, I remember one time there was to the point where you guys hadn't even heard my fucking part to the song yet, and we played a show before you guys even heard my part of the song. I'm serious.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I remember that, and I would fucking show up. I cannot believe dude, this was so fucking unprofessional. I cannot believe I did some of this shit. But like I would show up with fucking notebook pieces of paper with my fucking lyrics on them because I didn't even have my own lyrics memorized yet.
Did you have your lyric book on stage with you?
I don't know. I think I just had the pages, but I might as well have had yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, yeah, I do remember that. We because back then, like Collin said, he wouldn't be. He was living in Columbus, and that was 2 hours away from where we live, and we would write these songs, send them to him, and just hope that he does something good on the day of the show. Like he would. I cannot believe we did that. I honestly, like, it was obviously a stupid idea on my part, but it's like that just throws a whole lot of undue stress onto you guys too, though. It's well,
it's like,
I mean, we didn't know what you're doing, but at the end, like.
Yeah.
But we would come in for like a pre-show band practice. We'd always do a practice before a show, and we would basically have you do your thing. We would make a couple notes of what you should do, and that was it. Like, and then let's try it live. Like, it's essentially what it was. So, really crazy. I can't believe you did that. Looking back at it, you're a crazy motherfucker.
Crazy motherfucker from Jacksonville.
Sorry, me and Collin, we really love Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst, and we reference them every day of our life. So
yeah, Fred Durst, call me please.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I cannot fucking believe I did that. In hindsight, I probably never do that again if I was in another band. It's just such a fucking stupid thing to do.
I know for a fact I wouldn't let you do that again. But now,
oh, fine, shit.
I mean, but nowadays, I mean, we all have recording. Okay, preface this: everything we're talking about, I didn't have any recording equipment back in the day, so we were all just writing things in like jam sessions, like old school, like just everyone sitting in a room together and we're just writing together. That's kind of how it was back in the day, and how we wrote music. Nowadays, we barely ever practice in the practice space anymore. It's mainly we just write the song in the studio room I have here at home, and then we basically just rehearse the song we just wrote. So we have to practice it a lot. You know what I mean? It's a whole different atmosphere to writing, and it really streamlines the process and makes it 10 times easier. 10 times easier.
Well, yeah, you don't have to physically be in the same space to practice the songs anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
like
was,
I can just send
lining up everyone's schedules was always hold you back.
Yep, I can just show Marcus. I can solo out just the guitar and drums, send it to Marcus, who's the rhythm player, the other guitar player in our band like before us, and I can send him the stuff, send him the tablature, and he just knows what What I mean. He can learn the song right there and then. And then when we all meet up together, it's just us putting it together. I mean, that's all it is. And we can do that with every song, and we can write a whole song and get it. We can write 3 or 4 songs in a matter of 2 weeks, and then all we have to do is rehearse it out then and get it through a live set. So,
God, that is so much more efficient than what we were doing.
oh well, I mean, dude, it's the biggest reason I went to school is because I wanted to learn how to record music and do that. And yes, I am college educated, people. So no, I have my associate's degree in the recording arts and engineering, recording engineering. So if anyone was curious.
Yeah, I mean, Christian's really doing it, man. He's doing shit right. He's trying to record music himself, record his band himself, and it just makes everything so much easier. And I mean, that if I was trying to be in a band again like this, and I mean that's just the way to go, man. That's such a helpful thing to have, and it helps get your music out there so much. And so many bands that don't have that, they're certainly at a disadvantage.
Yeah, every band nowadays should have at least one member of the band that can record demos. You need at least one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you need at least one member in your band that can have a demo recorded with the vocals, drums, guitars, just so you can have a reference. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even it doesn't even have to sound good. You just need a reference. Just so you know what you're doing, so that everything's refined. Because it's really hard to refine things in a practice room and you're just jamming. You can't really line things up and make sure things are actually, what I mean? It brings it down to a real mathematical thing, precision. But then again, all the old great bands of the day back in the day didn't do that shit. So maybe I'm wrong. You never know. You know what I mean? It's a two. Fucking Leonard Skinner didn't do that. I don't know why I thought of Leonard Skinner first. They're the first band that popped in my head. So.
Well, I mean, but it works because the difference was, schedules and everything else weren't as hectic. I'm sure, like when Leonard Skinner, like your example, started out. I mean, those dudes probably just had their 9 to 5s, and then after work they'd all just get together. They probably lived geographically close to each other, right?
I had a man.
And they just got together
somewhere in fucking Tennessee or wherever they're from.
Yeah, and
somewhere south.
They got together and they probably practiced like fucking crazy, like all the time. And they made a lot more. I mean, it was just probably way easier for them to make time,
right?
And so I mean, and they came together and they just had to work through it. Mm-hmm. I mean, but nowadays the fact that you can just send files out to people and do everything remote is it makes everything so much easier. And I think that it still leads to like it doesn't take away from the songs either, at least from as far as I can tell too. Like there's still that it still sounds like a song that everyone collaborated on, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right, I get you.
It doesn't seem like there was a disconnect there.
Yeah, I'm saying that things can be a little over processed, especially in metal. Like that's one of my biggest issues today in modern metal music is that things just sound a little too clean. It's just like for example, it's just everything is down to the grid. Like every palm mute, every guitar solo, every lick is just like, and I've witnessed this. I know how these big studios work because I've been a part of something like this where they literally, you play your guitar and they literally cut up your guitar and they find like the best, like this was the best power chord right here. And then they make that the one power chord you play and they just copy and paste it throughout the entire song. Because and that's not, and I don't really like doing that. Because to me, that's not really true to the representation of the performance. And that's like, and I think that just is too much, it's too common right now in modern metal. Well, I think in most music right now, I think things sound a little too clean, but there's definitely a balance between too clean and sloppy. Like you got to find that nice mixture, in my opinion. So
yeah, there's a healthy middle ground, and I think that especially too if you're in the modern prog metal scene, especially that's very true. I mean, when I think of really clean mixes, I think of like Born of Osiris is so incredibly overprocessed.
It's funny that you mentioned them because that was the same exact studio we went to that recorded Born of Osiris. so
yeah, well, but at the same time, it's like you know that it's a deliberate thing, though. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of at this point, it's their sound. That's what they go for.
Well, yeah, that is Born of Osiris' sound. Like they came from that time where that super crazy, overproduced, polished sound was, you know, they kind of revolutionized that. They were one of the first bands to really make that sound prominent. So kudos to them. That's their tone. You know what I mean? But it's just too many bands then just follow that, and I don't think that's the way.
Right, but that whole like chopped up sort of palm muty, like it sounds like
it's not even, it doesn't even sound real. Like it just sounds like a
no. That's what I'm saying. It's like you really think you go to see them live. There's no way in shit they sound like that.
No, they sound close, but it's not like that. I think it sounds better live because it's real. But you know, that's just me.
Right? Yeah. Fair point. I mean, not to rant too hard, but I'm definitely with you on the whole like squeaky clean production thing. I think there's on the opposite spectrum. I mean, there's a lot of bands out there too that are doing a really good job at making their sound even more raw or very sonically huge, I guess you could say. I mean, I think of like bands that are produced by Kurt Ballou from Converge, like. That dude his motto is distort everything, and all the records he produces sound fucking incredible.
Who's he done?
He has done Nails is a big one.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and then I think he did Full of Hell and like maybe Fuming Mouth. That's just who I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I think he produces his own records, and I think he's done a couple other bigger bands.
Who did the new Code Orange record?
Code Orange?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I can Google it.
Because, dude, I'm not a big hardcore fan. I've never Collin.
The new Code Orange record is fucking impressive.
But yeah.
Really
I was about to say is that Code Orange is like their new record's not even hardcore really anymore. It's like a whole new thing.
Oh, and no, it's like industrial metal hardcore. Fucking yeah.
Avant-garde.
Jamie Morgan. Nick Raskulinecz. No shit. Nick Raskulinecz, I'm pretty sure produced a lot of Deftones records.
Huh. Yeah, but man, I tell you what though, that new Code Orange record is something. It really is cool. I'm not a big hardcore guy, but Collin loves hardcore. Collin is a big hardcore guy, and he was telling me for a while to listen to it. I was like, I'll get to it. And then finally, me and Marcus, we were listening to it. We're like, dude, this is some far out here shit. I like this stuff, you know.
Yeah, because it's what I like about that particular record is, well, not only is the way they do production, because they have like a lot of electronics and stuff in that record, is fucking insane, because it sounds like all their electronics are analog.
Yeah.
It's just slightly distorted, but it sounds like they're part of the music. They don't sound like overdubbed or anything like that. And just the songwriting in general, that record isn't like. Because the issue that I have with a lot of like heavier records sometimes is that a lot of the songs just start to blur together.
Yeah,
right. They don't really. There's not really much to set them apart. Whereas this record is almost takes a page out of the Book of Prague and is like a roller coaster. It's, you know, there's ups and downs, highs and lows, and slower songs and heavier songs and more melodic vocals and then heavier vocals.
Yeah,
and that record is just hits so fucking hard in all the right places.
Yeah, it's something, man. It really is.
Yeah, but to the point though, like that is a good fucking sounding record, and they did a hell of a job balancing out the whole like clean and dirty production, like raw production. And there is actually a great interview between Anthony Fantano and Jamie from Code Orange on Anthony Fantano's YouTube channel.
The Needle Drop, if you don't know. You should know if you're, YouTube young people. He's like the big music reviewer.
Yeah,
so
Muzak and all that stuff. But yeah, they basically wax poetic for about 30 minutes about Code Orange's writing process and shit like that, and it's actually really interesting. So anyway, yeah, but again, like production nowadays is just such a fickle thing, and it's just really nice when a band gets it. Some of these newer records coming out of heavy bands, especially in the hardcore scene, just sound fucking insane. These producers are doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, Will Putney, he did who did he do that? Knock Loose. Will Putney did Knock Loose, and
oh right, yeah, the A Different Shade of Blue, the newest album, sounds incredible. Sounds so good. But yeah, man. So back to our band though. I think though once we got settled in and we started like having full sets of originals and stuff like that, and we became more comfortable with our music and doing quite a few shows and just being on stage and getting used to it, I think we really started to dial in our live show for a while there, and I finally got to the point where I think, you know, our vision for what we wanted our live show to be started to come true. You know what I'm saying? Like we were ending the show where, like, you know, I know we had like a breakdown at the end of every show for a long time, and everyone fucking loved it. You were moshing and getting involved with the crowd and just going nuts on stage, even though we didn't usually have a lot of space. All the shows we played at Frankie's were always a great time.
Yeah, shout out to Frankie's Inner City.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, actually, they're up and running again. Well, not due to due to COVID, not so much, but they were,
right.
But they are technically up and running again. Like they are going to be a venue. It's just not ran by the same people anymore. But yeah, Frankie's Inner City is a pretty awesome, cool little historic dive bar venue that Limp Bizkit's been through there. You know what I mean? So.
Limp Bizkit, Five Finger Death Punch were some of the bigger ones.
Yeah. Like they've been through that venue, and it's just a cool venue. And we were in the scene in Toledo, and that's kind of where we thrived and did our best. And just a cool place, and I was glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, that was that venue was definitely a big part of our history, and definitely pretty much where we cut our teeth.
I mean, the band would never get to the levels it's gotten to without Frankie's, because we became so regular with all the other bands in that scene, and I got to learn from them and what they were doing and stuff. And yeah, I mean, Collin he tells you this, but we've even went further beyond. We went to Super Saiyan 3 level of a live show after he left, because that's when we got click tracks and backing tracks and stuff, and we started running to a metronome live, and that's even made our shows even tighter. So it's constantly evolving. It really is like Dragon Ball Z. It keeps going bigger and bigger and bigger. So
yeah, which is great. I really wish I could have caught another show with you guys. I only caught the one back when you still had Hunter in the band, I think was the last time I saw you guys. I don't think I've seen you since. Yeah. Which is a damn shame.
Yeah, and that's
because I really want to see you guys again.
I mean, yeah, and like I said, even from that point on, I think we're 10 times better from that time you saw us then. I mean, I really think we're hitting new strides every time and just capturing a better live sound. And I think when all said is done with, COVID and stuff, when we can start playing shows again, I think even then when we come back, we're even going to be better than that. So every live show is a learning experience. Even if you don't play in front of a lot of people, it's always something you pick up. It's always something you can learn from a live show, and it's just repetition. More repetition of doing it, the better you get. It's like with anything in life. So that's how you have to look at any live show. So even if you don't have a big turnout and there's barely anyone there, just think though, this is a chance to really hear yourself live and to hear, what you guys do, and maybe have a chance to better improve what a band does and stuff. So always take that with you when you're playing live. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, really the moral of the story is, man, like when you start a band, no matter where you are or what you do, is when you first start a band, I mean, you're gonna suck for a while. That's just the long short of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Until you kind of like find yourself, it's a long game, man. You just got to kind of keep hitting your head against that wall until you get something to work. It's definitely not kind of with everything worth doing, you kind of got to just keep doing it until it clicks, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, whether that's doing a band or in this case, like podcasting. I've been podcasting for a long time, and it took me a while to get half decent at that too.
Yeah, and like at the end of the day, just have fun and love what you're doing. If you're not having, if none of those are not happening with you in a band, then get out of it. You need to have fun, and you got to love it. And because that's at the end of the day, that's what a band is all about. So even at the end of the day, like Life Before Us now is more of a business than anything nowadays, but I still have fun and I love doing it. And you can't ever lose that. You can't lose sight of that. Because if it comes to a point where neither of those two things are happening, then you probably should get out of it. So
exactly, man. That's just it. The driving force behind why you want to do it is just because you want to and you're passionate about it.
Yep.
That's basically it. Still to this day, I definitely it's one of those things where you do it long enough and it just becomes kind of like a part of you. And I really do miss sometimes playing live shows and playing in front of people. It's such a rush after a while. Like once you get over the whole stage fright and yada 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 and worrying about like what people think of you, it's one of those things where that nervousness and that kind of pit in your stomach right before you take the stage almost gets me, it got me more excited towards the end than anything. Like I was like excited, raring to go, and it, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just there's nothing like that feeling,
right?
You know, and it playing like when we played for fucking Mushroom Head and we played for a fucking packed Agora in front of like almost 1,000 people. That was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if you've told your people that, but we used to play football, both me and you, Collin.
Yeah.
And playing live shows was like the best supplement ever for like the rush of not playing a football game anymore. Is like, like, oh cool, like I have this now that I can get soaked into an adrenaline in, and you know it's just basically a new release. You know, it's just as good if not better. You know, because no, it's way better. It's way better. I should clarify that. But
I would definitely say that because the great thing about playing live shows is they don't last too long. Football just lasts for fucking ever.
Yeah, and you get hurt and beat up while doing it. It's like, oh god.
Yeah. And you don't feel. I don't think you feel nearly as much pressure. I think, at least for me, when I was playing in a band.
I felt a lot of pressure when playing football. I don't know why.
I don't know. I just kind of got up there and did my thing, and if I fucked up, I fucked up.
I see your point.
Yeah. But it's definitely it's certainly a rush, and then playing everything from like a packed Agora show all the way down to like when we play the glass bar, which was this tiny ass dive with almost no stage. It was just a little drum riser essentially, and we were playing on the floor in people's faces. That was some of the most fun because that's when you could get up close and personal and mosh with people, and everyone was just having a good time.
Oh man,
and
yeah, you should.
God, what we played quite a few shows at that tiny little bar and met a lot of great friends there, and that's how we met the producer of our first EP, Joe. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yep.
And not why did I think the Harbor Divide? iDefiance.
Yep. Yeah, good friends of mine, especially Joe. Me and Joe talk on a weekly basis about guitar stuff and gear and recording. And Joe helped record our first EP, and I mean it didn't sound good, not because of him, mainly because I think it was just we didn't know what we were doing. So it's hard to record a band that doesn't know what they're doing. At the end of the day, So
definitely, that's certainly a part of it. And so shout out to Joe. And but I think one of the highlights for me of my time in the band anyway was definitely playing our I think our EP release show at the Beer Keller.
I mean, that was a great day for our band at the time. So
yeah, definitely. That was so that show I think it was like raining all day that day. We played in a shelter house outside of a small pub in our hometown, and we invited all of our friends and family. I drove all the way up from Columbus, and all of our friends and family showed up. And more. We had a couple of other...
And more.
Yeah, and more. And we had other bands that we were friends with. We put that together with them. So they opened for us, and we got our own producer, or our own sound guy, our own light guy, and we put a whole fucking show together, and it was great. And then when it came time to play, and I'll never forget this part, when it came time to play, I remember I ripped my shorts on the first song, which was fucking great. Dude, that was so good. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And I was like, that's so that's so fucking on brand for me. It hurts.
Oh, dude. No, I thought you were about to say something big and emotional, and then you're like, yeah, so like we were about to play, and oh wait, here comes the big speech, and then you're like, I ripped my shorts. I'm like,
yeah. Well, yeah, there's that, but beyond that too is like, it's so funny. I played played the whole show with the ass of my shorts blown out, which was fine. I just kind of played it off. Everyone was cool with it. Luckily, I chose to wear underwear that day.
Yeah.
But beyond that, no. I mean, but to your point though, I definitely will not ever forget that show. I mean, I'll never forget playing fucking. So we played an entire hour set, which was the longest set we had played probably since Community Days at that point, and we played every single song we had ever written. I think it was like, 9-10 songs maybe at the time.
Yeah, it was a long set.
Yeah, and we played long songs too. So I mean, that may not sound like a whole lot of songs for an hour set, but
well, yeah, when you have songs that are 8 minutes long, yeah, it can get kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly, because we were this big prog band, but especially playing, I remember we broke into Kill 'Em Dead, and everyone started fucking moshing and losing their minds instantly, which was like the coolest feeling in the world. And that song finished out with everyone chanting "Kill 'Em Dead."
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and everyone was just losing their fucking minds, and just I was like, that was it. Like that's what I wanted. Like that sort of fucking just violence and craziness, and everyone having a good time, and people, crowd surfing and jumping on top of each other. And I don't know, dude, it was just getting in my face and sweating all over each other. It's just it was an insane good time. And it's just, that's a memory that I'll never forget. And I think no one else will forget it either. It's definitely a dear memory for me.
Oh, dude, it was. I mean, that was a very stressful day for me because I was the one that planned everything.
Yeah, I mean, dude, kudos to you because you did a lot of that fucking planning. I mean, you're the one who got a lot of that shit together.
Yeah, I had to get that together.
I mean, I didn't have to do shit. I just basically showed up.
Yeah, no, and I had to talk to the pub owners and the light guy, the sound guys. I had to arrange everything, make sure everything was, according to plan and everything. And I hate doing that shit, but. Those type of shows are necessary for a band to succeed. You got to be able to draw. Well, you got to be able to, like, whatever your nearest by venue where, there's some people that, you got to be able to draw a crowd. If you can't get people, packed into a place near where you live or something, it's like you don't even exist, So you got to make sure locally that people know who you guys are locally, regionally, and then obviously nationally, but yeah, it's those, you got to do those type of shows, and we do have one of those type of shows planned in August, but we'll see how everything plays out with COVID. So I'm not too hopeful for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a lot of that shit. It sucks that this whole virus thing is throwing a wrench into everyone's plans when it comes to live music. But yeah, I think what you say is very true. It especially with that show, it was the difficult part was there wasn't any venues near us that we could have played at. I mean, the nearest venues we would have played at would have probably been like, Toledo or something like that, because we wanted a venue that was all ages, anyone could show up to. And the issue was all the places that we could have played that were close to us were bars where everyone had to be 21 and up to even get in.
Yeah, luckily the Beer Color Pub is like, you can have people. It still has a bar, but everyone can go. It's an all ages type.
Right,
of place.
It's a restaurant, and they have the shelter house outside, which really helped us out. And so we had bands from a couple towns over come and play with us, and it was great to feel like we kind of felt like, we were hometown heroes. It felt good, man.
I felt like I made a difference that day. Like
give something back.
You know what I mean? Like I built something. Yeah. I think we all felt that way, where we actually, hey man, we built this up. Like we actually we became a band, and over time of just playing and playing and playing and building some sort of rep, like we got a show together and we was able to bring, a lot of people in. The pub made a lot of money off of us. They're always willing to do that again. We did do it again, just without Collin. Like 2 years later, we did another show just like it, and yeah, they're always thankful, and it was a cool moment, really, really cool moment for us.
Yeah, and it was a damn shame for a while that the beer cellar was they closed down for a while, if I recall right.
Yeah.
Which was a huge blow because I know Christian and the guys had a kind of plan to turn that into the local venue a little bit, because that was the only place to play really under those conditions, because places in Sandusky had shut down. There's not really a place to play there, and otherwise it would have been Toledo or nothing. And that being an hour away, that's really far for people to drive.
Yeah, and luckily for us now, we do have the Halo Live, which is awesome. It's such a great, beautiful looking. It's our church that they remade into a music venue. It's pretty badass, actually.
That's over in Sandusky?
Yeah, it's over in Sandusky, so just 30 minutes away from us, and a lot of our friends and family live in Sandusky, and that was our big plan, was to do a big show there in August, kind of to, because we might have some music being released here in the next couple months, but
hell yeah, man.
Yeah, but like I said, with COVID and all that, we just got to see. We're kind of playing. We got to play it by ear right now and see what we do.
Yeah, man. This whole virus thing, man. It's going to be a different landscape with live music after this whole thing is said and done. It already kind of is turning into that with I think back to the Code Orange. They did the whole live stream in an empty venue thing just to make up for it, because they were without tour they weren't making any money. No. So they had to find ways to make that money back, and so that's sort of the struggles that a lot of bands are going through too.
Yeah,
especially bands that are doing it for a living.
Yeah, and I just bought some merch. Animals as Leaders had some canceled tour merch that they were selling, and to help out the band, I bought some merch for them, and just support your bands that you like and buy some of their merch, and because that helps them out and stuff. So
exactly too, and I knew too when I was starting the show that I really wanted Christian to do some sort of theme music for this show, and I'm glad he already had a song in his pocket, and I thought it was perfect as soon as I'd heard it too, and it's so great to every time I get to edit the show, I get to hear that song again and think of the band and everything, and use that as I see fit, and definitely in my wheelhouse in terms of the type of music that I like. And one of the things I wanted to talk about too, Christian, on this episode too, is what can you tell me about what the inspiration was behind Translation, and what your kind of writing process was with that song?
My writing honestly, man, it was okay. This sounds so bad, but so that song was basically I just downloaded some new drum software, and I was trying it out. So I just wrote a basic beat, and I started just riffing over it, and that's literally how that song came about. Is that it just became a song out of me just trying out some new drum software that I just purchased. Yeah, because that's literally how the song was made. And that was the inspiration behind it, essentially. And and then you have to give names to songs, and so. But then the song does kind of take on a new meaning because the song actually is going to have lyrics in it. Because as of right now, the song isn't fully released yet, because it's going to have vocals on it and stuff, but we always release an instrumental version and regular version of all of our music, because I think it's the cool thing to do is to release your instrumentals. But it's basically the whole inspiration behind that song. It was just a project that I was working on, just to hear how.
Oh yeah, and I love the different nuances to the song too, because the great thing is sometimes I play the song, different parts of the song, twice in the same episode, right? And I can choose and pick and choose vertical slices of that song, and there's just different vibes in different parts of the song, which I really like.
It's definitely I think it's one of my better. I think it's one of the best just well-written songs I've ever done. Like, I definitely think that song has a really good structure from start to finish. Like, because it does, that song has a chorus, it has a chorus in it, which, you don't really think of choruses in prog music, but every verse is different. Everything is nuanced. Everything builds up to things, and I'm really proud of that song, honestly, and that's why that's a song that we're definitely going to keep in our live playbook for the future. And yeah, it's a fun song. Definitely like it.
Yeah, and I'm glad to hear that too. I think it definitely lends itself to having some sort of vocals put over it. I think the instrumental is fantastic, but I think that a good melody and some good lyrics, I think, could really put the song over the top. But and I know too that you guys for a good while were completely instrumental, and I know that I was one of the people that kind of encouraged you to do that, because I know you guys can write some very interesting instrumental parts, and I think it was cool for a while to have you guys sort of unleash that sort of parts of your writing capabilities and just kind of focus on writing instrumental parts that were just interesting and really sort of led the song rather than being background to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And just to clarify for people, our band names have changed. So we started out Stranded, then we became Antihero, and then Strike Team 6, and then finally the final form incarnation is Light Before Us. Just to
right, which is a majority of the lifespan of the band.
Yeah.
We were Life Before Us, and even now.
And the Light Before Us is what the band is currently. But just due to circumstances, we were left in a spot where we had no vocalist. And my opinion, we wanted to go into a more softer direction. Not softer, but we wanted to go into more of a singing. We wanted more singing in our music. And because, it just, you get older, you get into more different influences. And we just wanted someone that could sing more so than scream and stuff. And at the time, we couldn't find that person. And, we had to, it's a long story, but he left the band, came back to the band, whatever. But, essentially, we wanted to go instrumental and just work on our songwriting and basically just come out with some of the best songs we could with just, instrumental and just work on structure and everything. And then eventually we got our good buddy who is now, our band is to clarify, our band is kind of like a weird hybrid band, because we are going to we do instrumental songs that are just instrumental, but we also have songs that are straight up songs with just vocals in them. So we're kind of doing this whatever we want type of mindset. And I think in the world of prog metal and all that stuff, I think it just fits in really well with what everyone else is doing. So I'm not really too worried about it.
Well, yeah, and I think too that the scenes that you guys are playing in now, I think that you guys stick out a little bit in a positive way. You're doing something that's interesting and different, because the thing about the scenes that, as I remember them, us playing in, and from the bands that I remember, that we were doing some stuff that was different from everyone else in a way, because there were a few bands that were certainly not to insult or anything, but certainly carbon copies of other bands in certain genres and things like that too. So just some of them, their music wasn't particularly memorable, and I thought a lot of the stuff, and not to toot our own horn or anything like that, or your guys' horn now, but I think that the stuff that you guys are doing now is has its own unique thing to it. I mean, you certainly have your influences, but it's definitely turning into its own monster. So I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, this all comes back to Slash at the beginning of the podcast. It all comes back to him, because it's all about a lot of people might not like him, but at the end of the day, everyone knows it's Slash. It's memorable. It's his sound. And I think that's what every band should try to go for, is their own sound. And that's that's exactly what we're doing, We're just trying to have a unique voice in this giant pond of, bands. So we're just trying to be a unique fish, in this big giant sea.
Yeah, and it could be certainly exhausting too when you especially in the prog metal genre specifically. I know we've mentioned that a few times now, but I know that you guys kind of lean towards there. But prog metal has certainly become kind of an umbrella term, I would say.
Oh, dude,
for a lot of different stuff.
Metal, like it's not even metal, but we just call it prog metal because dudes are like playing guitar really cool. You know what I mean? Like they're doing really cool stuff on guitar. So
yeah, and I think there is definitely an oversaturated pocket of prog metal / metalcore.
Oh yeah,
whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, so you have screaming vocals over dissonant guitars and palm muted guitars, and it's like that's been overdone so many times.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you have the catchy hook in the chorus, and maybe a cool lead here and there. It's like it's been done and overdone.
Or just all the Periphery carbon copies. Just all.
Yeah. There's so many of those out there. The whole gent thing is sort of dying out now, which is cool. I think that's why I think so many people are leaning more towards hardcore, even though it's simple. They're trying to do a lot of different stuff to innovate on the genre, and I mean prog is definitely changing. A lot of the trends in prog are changing. I think stuff like Pliny and Animals as Leaders especially is becoming more and more popular.
I think
a lot of the stuff.
I think the biggest trend is the polyphia trend, is where it's like you shred, but you shred in almost like a pop rock context. So like bands like Polyphia and like a little bit of Chan. Chan has that sound.
Yeah,
and you know
absolutely.
who else has it? I just listened to him. Dance Gavin Dance. I just listened to him, like really actually sat down and listened to him, and they shred, man. Like they do a lot of that pop rock shred thing, which, you know, I think, you know, you could put into that whole proggy, I don't know, world. So yeah, I think that's kind of the move right now for a lot of bands. Intervals does it. So
yeah. Absolutely. I think that's definitely becoming the trend. I hope it doesn't become like kind of oversaturated. You know, I think those bands are,
I think it's
yeah, it kind of is. But I hope those bands continue to like sort of morph that sound more and more. But what I kind of like about that though, and about all these with hardcore and prog metal taking that direction, is I think it's making metal in a sense more accessible.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In a good way, and I think it's getting a lot more people involved, and you're getting more people on board. And maybe that changes into like, maybe they'll stay in that pocket, but maybe that'll be sort of the gateway drug that gets them into a lot of the other subgenres that are happening in metal. And I'm glad that we're kind of getting away from the whole gatekeepy thing, and everyone, there's just kind of this aura of everyone.
We're kind of getting
enjoying
away from it, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely not gone by any means. But I think we're getting to that place where everyone is kind of just being influenced by everyone, and everyone's just kind of taking in everything when it comes to music. But yeah, I think genres in prog though are becoming much more ubiquitous, and I think there's a lot of the great thing about prog though, and I think the reason why it's such an umbrella term is because there's a lot of genre bending happening. And I think that's a really good thing. It opens the door to make completely new sounds, because unlike, you know, say death metal, you're not getting the same, you know, death metal is death metal, and you're not getting the same record over and over in something like prog. I mean, those bands in general, I think metal in general is becoming much more experimental and adding their own flair and bending those genres a little bit more now. And I think even you guys are starting to do that a little bit, it would seem.
Well, yeah, you know, metal has to survive, you know what I mean? Like, metal has to evolve, you know what I mean? Because people, you know, they've heard it, you know what I mean? So you got to keep adding new things to it and, you know, evolving the genre and moving it forward to keep it interesting. So I just think that's just an aspect of just, you know, genre fatigue. Like, if you hear something so much, eventually you just want to hear something new. And I just think that's the the more so evolution of just the genre itself. So I just think that's how it goes.
Yeah, and I think it definitely makes a band much more interesting too when they sort of record to record evolve their sound. I mean, definitely I'm really glad that not every band is like AC/DC and it's the same song over and over again.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for AC/DC, but
I don't think so. I don't think there is a time and place. I've been pretty nice throughout this whole podcast, but I'm not going to be nice to AC/DC. I refuse to be, just no. I'm good.
Just now. That's where I draw the line. Yeah. But yeah, man, so I think we have covered quite a bit of ground today in terms of talking about music and telling the story of Life Before Us and how that came to be too. And I'm glad I got to talk to you about the theme song too, because that's definitely going to be really important to the history of this show as well. And I'm also, it really sucks that this whole virus thing is happening and kind of putting you guys on hold, but I think everyone's pretty much on hold. And I know you guys talked about doing some live stream stuff. Is that still happening?
It wouldn't be as a full band. It'd be probably just me and Marcus, or just doing guitar playthroughs of some of our music and just the guitar stuff, probably mainly.
Right on, man. I think that it's just one way we had to kind of adapt for the time being. It just sucks that everything is just so uncertain right now and nobody knows when the shit's gonna be over. I know a lot of people, yourself included, it is a lot like me and getting fucking stir crazy.
Yeah, and
through all this shit.
And it's really it's kind of tough for us because we just recorded with our new producer, which we recorded with Jamie King. And if you guys don't know who Jamie King is, he has worked with bands like Between the Bear to Me, one of my favorite bands, The Contortionist, Scale the Summit. He's worked with a lot of my favorite bands, and we were super pumped. We worked on a couple songs with him, and yeah, it's put us in a weird bind because we don't know when to release things, because we don't want to release it now when we still can't play shows for another 6 months, because then people are just going to forget about it. But it's
right.
So it's put us in a weird position, but I think we've recorded a couple of our best songs to this day, and it's just like, oh man, COVID, what the fuck, bro? Like we got music. So we don't know what to do with that yet. So that's kind of the position that we're in now. And yeah, so thanks.
Yeah, and it sucks because I actually did see a thing yesterday. I saw a news article saying that one of the leaders for this whole COVID thing is saying that like live shows might not be a thing until fall of next year.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, by then we might.
A long time.
Yeah, I mean, by then though, we might have a full-length record to release. So.
Oh yeah, no shit.
It just gives us more time to release music and more music, I guess, and record and working on stuff. So yeah, I mean, you can only take it for what it is. So you got to do what you got to do. So.
Yeah, well, I highly recommend all of you guys out there go follow Life Before Us, their musical journey, because. I'm super excited about the stuff that they're doing, and even though this whole COVID thing is putting that on hold, I can promise you that as soon as this stuff's over, they're going to release some really, really good stuff for you guys to listen to. Whether you're a metal fan or not, I think they have a pretty wide range of sounds that they have. So I'm super excited about that. So as we're wrapping up here, Christian, do you want people to be able to find you on social media?
Not really. Yeah, sure. I'm just on. I do Facebook and Instagram. Mainly, if you want to follow me, I guess Instagram. I'm Life Before Chris on Instagram. So, one word.
Yeah, and then of course the band is, I believe, at Life Before Us. If you want to follow them as well.
Life Before Us official, I believe. I think.
Yeah, Life Before Us official. Yeah, so you can get all the latest news on them there. I am Collin Sparling. You can follow the show at Collin and Mono on both Instagram and Twitter. You can email the show with any comments, questions, thoughts, ideas, concerns, collinandmono@gmail.com. Once again, the theme song by Life Before Us, written and produced by Christian Crump. That's translation by Life Before Us. And do you have anything else, Christian, before we go?
In honor of the show, I ate strawberry mini wheats before we did the show today. I ate some cereal. So,
okay,
because I knew I know how Colin's very passionate about cereal. If you guys couldn't tell by a couple episodes of his show, but
yeah. I do have some very strong feelings about cereal. It's just I've eaten so much of it, man. I just I know what I like. That's what I will say. Yeah. I actually do have a box of Eggo waffle cereal in my kitchen right now.
Yeah, I ate some strawberry mini wheats because I think you talked about that in one of your episodes, and I
probably did.
And you know what, man? After you talked about it, I couldn't get out of my fucking head. I was like, oh my God. strawberry mini wheats, and I finally just, I got a box of them. So I ate that beforehand, ate my bowl of cereal, and so I think that's...
Yeah, Kellogg's, call me. Give me a sponsorship.
Dude.
Go to www.kellogg's.com/Collin and Mono to get 20% off your first cereal order.
Code word. The password or whatever.
Jesus.
I don't know. That'd be funny. That'd be really funny.
All right, well, let's get out of here, man. This has been Collin and Mono, and we will see you next Wednesday. Goodbye.